Last video I showed you 5 free AI tools genuinely worth using. This video is about the part nobody talks about. Free is often a business model, not a gift. Most people who build their workflows around free AI tools have never thought clearly about what they are actually trading in return. That is not a criticism. The trade-offs are not obvious, they are not advertised, and they accumulate quietly. By the end of this video, you will have a clear framework for evaluating any free tool before you depend on it. Not to scare you off free tools. Some of the best AI tools in the world right now have free tiers, and that is genuinely true. The point is understanding the trade so you can make the decision with your eyes open. Trade 1: your data and your privacy. When you type a prompt into a free AI tool, most people assume that conversation stays between them and the interface. That assumption is usually wrong. If you paste unreleased client strategy into a free chatbot, you should assume that information is leaving your local machine and entering someone else's system. The majority of free AI tools retain your prompts, your outputs, and your usage pattern, sometimes indefinitely, sometimes for defined periods, and use that data to improve their models. This is not hidden in the sense of being illegal. It is disclosed in terms of service that almost nobody reads. The practical implication is that anything sensitive you type into a free AI tool, such as business strategy, client information, financial details, or personal decisions, is potentially stored and may be used as training data. The free tier is not a secure environment by default. Some tools offer privacy settings that opt you out of training use, but those are often buried and require you to know to look for them. The pattern across the industry is consistent. Free access is subsidized by data contribution. That is the trade, and it is worth being explicit about before you decide what to type. Trade 2: your work might be public. This one surprises people more than almost anything else. Some free AI image tools make your generations visible to the entire community by default. Leonardo AI is a clear example of this. On the free tier, images you generate appear in the public community feed unless you actively configure privacy settings, and privacy on Leonardo requires a paid plan. That means if you are generating product mock-ups, creative concepts, or anything you consider proprietary work, those outputs are potentially visible to every other user on the platform. This is not unique to Leonardo. It is a pattern across image generation tools where the community feed serves a dual purpose. It showcases the tool's capability, and it functions as free marketing. Your work is part of that system when you use the free tier. For personal experimentation, that trade is probably fine. For anything that matters commercially or creatively, it is worth understanding before you generate. Trade 3: you are building on borrowed ground. Free tools are often at their most generous when they are trying to grow. The free tier is customer acquisition. It is how they get you into the workflow, get you dependent on the interface, get your team using the integration. Once that dependency exists, the pricing model can change. Features that were free move behind a paywall, usage caps tighten. Export formats that worked yesterday require an upgrade tomorrow. This is not a conspiracy. It is a predictable business pattern, and it has happened across enough AI tools in the last 2 years that it should factor into how you build workflows. The question to ask before committing to any free tool is not just, does this work today? It is, what happens to my workflow if this changes tomorrow? If the honest answer is, I would have to rebuild something significant, that is a dependency worth acknowledging. None of this means you should stop using free AI tools. Some of the best tools in the world right now have free tiers, and that is still true. The point is understanding the trade, not avoiding it. Trade 4: you are a low priority when it matters most. Free users are not the revenue. That single fact determines everything about how you get treated when the system is under pressure. When a free AI tool is under heavy demand, meaning peak hours, viral moments, major product launches, paid users get priority access. You get slower responses, queued requests, or usage limits that kick in exactly when you are trying to get something done. Anyone who has used a free AI tool during a busy weekday afternoon has felt this without necessarily understanding why. The tool that felt fast and capable during your first test session runs differently under load. That experience is not random. It is structural. For occasional use and experimentation, this is a minor inconvenience. For anyone trying to run a real workflow on a free tier during business hours, the reliability gap between free and paid is often larger than the feature gap. Trade 5. Your workflow is quietly fragmenting. 5 free tools sounds efficient. 10 free tools starts to become a problem you do not notice until it is already expensive. Different interfaces, different export formats, different usage caps, different rules around your data. The cognitive overhead of managing a fragmented free tool stack is real, and it compounds gradually rather than announcing itself. There is also a practical risk when one tool changes, breaks, or disappears. The part of your workflow that depended on it needs to be rebuilt on short notice. Free tools have a higher turnover rate than paid ones because the economics of maintaining a free product long-term are harder to sustain. Building deep workflow dependencies on multiple free tools simultaneously is a fragility most people do not price in until something breaks. Here is the framework before you go. 3 questions worth asking before you commit any real workflow to a free AI tool. First, what are you actually trading for free? Read the privacy policy for the relevant clause on data retention and training. If it is unclear or not findable, that is itself information. Second, what happens if this tool changes tomorrow? If your answer is, I would have to significantly rebuild my workflow, consider whether the free tier is actually saving you anything long-term or just deferring a cost. Third, would you still use this if your work depended on it? If the honest answer is no, if the reliability, the privacy, or the public generation policy would be unacceptable in a professional context, then you are using it recreationally, not professionally. That is fine, but be honest about which category it is. Free tools are worth using. The best ones in this space right now are genuinely impressive, and the free tiers are more capable than they have ever been. The mistake is not using them. The mistake is using them without understanding what you are trading in return. For more videos like this which help you make an informed choice, subscribe to my channel and I will keep doing this. See you in the next one.